All right, we're going live. Hi, everybody. I know that I sometimes make the video to be on another stream, but I hope that everybody could join me here. I do see some of you guys in the chat, so just, join me live if you can. I'm over here. Let me see if I could go back and see some of my my viewers and let them know that I'm over here. There already was, I know that there were some people already. All right, let me let them know. All right, sorry, folks. I am so sorry. I know those who are viewing me later. Okay. All right. I know just getting ready to do the Scorpio, guys. So I know B Rabbit, Tanya, I do see you guys. B Rabbit, I saw the message. I see that you're on the other stream. Thank you for realizing that. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Hi, B Rabbit. Hi, Wake Up.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Wake Up. Hi, B Rabbit.
I do see you guys. B Rabbit. Okay. So it's all about Scorpio today. But do you guys hear me? B Rabbit, thank you for the super chats. She is so cute with her super stickers. Look at her. She's so cute. Thank you so much, B Rabbit, for the super chat. Riley was asking about you earlier. He's concerned about your well-being. Say hi, Riley.
Hi, B Rabbit.
I think he's more concerned than you. I don't know why he keeps asking about you, B Rabbit. Tanya, yes, I am a hard woman to track down sometimes. Wake Up says hi, Riley.
Hey, Wake Up.
All right, B Rabbit says the audio is great. B Rabbit is laughing at what I said. Yeah, no, he just Wake Up says hi, Riley.
Hey, Wake Up. Oh, pardon me.
That's okay. I'm just am I like on full screen? Does it look like I'm on full screen? I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay. Scorpio. All right, now I know I'm on a 2, I guess I'm on a 10, honestly, I'm on a 10-second delay here with this live stream, but I'm happy that you guys are here. I did see you in the other chat, so I'm glad that you guys are here. Because I'm Zooming, folks, I just want you to know, because of the Zoom, and I have to use my phone to Zoom Riley and go live on YouTube, I have to erase the premiere that I first started. So even though you guys are waiting for me there, and I appreciate it, I always try to make a point on the description box to put that I'm going to do the live on another stream. Same time, more or less. Sorry, Riley and I were a little late, but nevertheless, I do appreciate you guys being on top of that, okay? Because I can't live stream on the same upcoming event. I have to redo a whole live on a whole different video. So if you're wondering why do I always get to go to another video, especially when I'm Zooming, I have to, because it's on my phone, not on my computer. I can't get my Zoom to really work the way I want it to work on my computer. So that's why I'm always on my phone when I'm Zooming, Riley. Okay, Okay, let's get started now. What? All right. Wake up. Thank you so much for the super chat. She's like, yay, help me understand Scorpio. Thank you, B Rabbit. Hi, Natural Beauty.
Leonore.
Yes.
Don't forget we gotta we gotta top off Libra, remember?
I know. I did not forget. B Rabbit says, Riley, I'm single if that's what you want to know. Oh, good. She's cute. But then she goes, haha, I'm only kidding. All right. Yes. All right. Yes, Riley. No, I didn't forget about Libra. I did wanted to touch on Libra a little bit, but not just a little bit, because this is still a Scorpio insight and information. So we'll be talking more about Scorpio. But yes, Riley, is there anything that you wanted to add that maybe we didn't cover in the last video for Libra before we go into Scorpio?
Yeah, absolutely. We got cut off right before the time when you and I were discussing. We started talking about Scorpio, and I was connecting Scorpio to Libra. But what I was saying about Libra was without Libra in the universe, the solar system, it definitely could not exist, because the Libra is the delicate balance in the universe. There's a reason why when you do scientific experimentations, you notice that I think we breathe in a certain amount of oxygen, a certain amount of hydrogen, gases that make that form things. All those have a certain number, 32%, 21%, whatever the percentage is. Even if the sun was 1% further or 1% closer, it would change the human existence. Probably we wouldn't even exist. So the Libra represents that balance, that necessary. It's necessary to have that energy. It's not given a lot of credit sometimes, because we look at the Libra for certain personality traits in the human form, because Libras are always trying to attain balance. There's a constant struggle to get an equilibrium, and that's where they may have some struggles. But it's necessary. I'm gonna give you an example. What defines a person's beauty?
You had mentioned that last week. I don't know. I forgot.
Scientifically speaking, I want to know, any of the guests know, what defines what makes a person beautiful or attractive. And what they came up with that's been factual in science is that even in animals, believe it or not, certain animals, the symmetry in one's face.
Yes.
And the more symmetric one's face is, the more it appeals, or it can be appealing to another person. And it's such a thin line that maybe even the naked eye misses it. That's how thin it is. The naked eye may miss it. It's almost unconscious, But that goes to why I say Libra represents, beauty, and a lover of beauty, artistic, because they have a fine eye for beauty. So that balance, that energy of symmetry, is an attractive energy.
I see. Yes, well, you had also mentioned that Venus, Libra women are one of the most beautiful. I think Gemini and Libras are really up there when it comes to like aesthetic beauty. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think that you can, but see, the beauty of beauty is that you can find beauty in anything depending on how acute your eye is. But the Libra is the energy, that Venus energy is in that. Because somebody that's artistic may find beauty in something that somebody else may not find beauty in. But the energy that they find beauty in it is the Libra energy in itself. That makes sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So that when you go to an art gallery and there's one painting, somebody does not like it, but the other person would pay $100,000 for it because he sees the beauty in that picture. And that energy of beauty that he sees, that's a Libra energy. Being able to see the finite things in the balance of something.
Yeah.
On a scientific level, we'll get off Libra after this, and we'll go on to Scorpio if you want. Like for instance, like when you look at the weather, right? When you look at thunder and lightning, right? And because really, lightning is a net charge that comes from the cloud, and that net charge that comes from the cloud that forms from droplets hit the ground, right? So what happens is when they keep hitting the ground, that negative charge, it needs to balance out to become an uncharged. And that uncharged is what creates the lightning. That's why you see lightning is usually from the ground up, not the ground down. That's why they tell you don't sit underneath a tree when it's lightning outside. There's a reason for that. So what happens is that balance is being compromised because those net charges from those raindrops, it needs to uncharge. See, and that's what's causing that lightning to happen from those clouds. Either it comes from cloud to another cloud or comes from the ground up to a cloud, right? So what happens is the heat from that lightning is so powerful. It's such a vast amount of heat that it compromises the air. So that thunder is the gap. That loud sound is the gap in the air. It's air. That's what you kind of like breaking air. Similar to what happens when you shoot a gun. The heat and the speed of that bullet into the air makes that sound because you're clapping air. So Libras, that charge and that uncharge, that's what causes that lightning. Back to what I'm trying to say, that balance is very important when you look at it from an astrological perspective, science, beauty, whatever it is.
I see. Yeah, thank you for bringing the nature aspect out of the element of the air sign, because people don't understand that nature has a lot to do. It does incorporate with all of the zodiac signs. There are 4 elements: earth, air, fire, water. So what Riley was trying to get at is the air aspect, the nature of the especially the specific sign Libra that we're talking about. So that all correlates, and getting into Scorpio is fixed water, as far as the correlation that I could say about fixed water when it comes to Scorpio in the 8th house is, the vast ocean and what's inside of that ocean, because the 8th house represents hidden mysteries. There are people that don't know what the hell is down in those oceans. They just don't. And that is exactly what the 8th house represents, or just a water element, and understand also that I'm going to touch a little bit about, I'm going to touch on all the signs we went through from Aries through Libra, and then I'm going to go into Scorpio, because I need you to understand that the first 6 signs of the zodiac represents the outer soul, the exoteric side, while the last 6 signs, starting with Libra and then Scorpio, represents the inner soul, or the esoteric part of the zodiac sign of that energy. So Aries is the baby of the zodiac. We love our babies of the zodiac. Aries is the baby of the zodiac, and that represents stimulation for Aries. Because they're considered the baby of the zodiac, they need stimulation, they need attention, they need mommy, they need daddy. Okay, and then we get into Taurus. Taurus is the toddler of the zodiac sign. So in this house, in the second house with Taurus, we're now going into material items and possessions. So when the toddler wants their blankie, or the toddler wants their favorite toy or their bobo, so now we get into the possessions and material items of the second house, which is Taurus. Then we get into the third house, Gemini. Gemini represents the kid, the kid in kindergarten, or the kid in first grade. At this point now, they are communicating, so at this point, they either are developing their speech, or may have a delay in their speech. They're socializing, so when they get into kindergarten and first grade, they're socializing now. They're getting to know their community. They're getting to know the environment. That's Gemini. Then from Gemini, we go to Cancer. Cancer represents now the kid in elementary school, the kid that comes home and sees their favorite snack on their counter, whether it's cookies and milk, dinner, being with the family, watching Wheel of Fortune together. Okay, so that's Cancer. So from Cancer, we go into Leo. So Leo is the teenager. Leo is the popular jock, the popular cheerleader. Leo is the kid in the drama class, or the theater. This is what Leo represents. The teenager. Then we go into Virgo. Now this is the last sign of the outer souls when it comes to the first 6 zodiac signs. Here we have a transition. This is the kid that leaves high school, graduates high school, or the kid that graduates college and goes into the workforce. So now it's all about servicing others. Then from the 6th to the 7th house, which is Libra. Libra represents relationship, interpersonal relationship. So now we're talking about marriage, contracts, or any form of relationship, co-workers, enemies. Now, with that being said, the 8th house, Scorpio. So now we're going to Libra into Scorpio. So do you see how all these signs all just flow into one another? So by the time we get to Pisces, Pisces has all these energies of all these signs. So now we're into Scorpio, and Scorpio, this is the video that we're talking about now, the insight and information, the spiritual gangster of the zodiac sign. And I'll explain in a little while I named it the spiritual gangster. But now the 8th house represents the unknown. The 8th house represents hidden tendency. Well, not hidden tendencies, but I would say more the mystery of life, the taboo, sex, money. It's the house of extremes. Okay, it's the house of hidden mysteries. It's a house of secrets. Okay. Is there anything else you should add to that when it comes to the 8th house, Riley?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, as far as like extremes and mysteries, what do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people talk about the ocean, and I've mentioned that many times when you and I have spoken offline about Scorpio and how it's applicable to the ocean. But don't forget, it's also a fixed water sign. So fixed means it pretty much stays in a certain way and doesn't change. Large lakes have a similar tendency because of the way the big lakes, not the ones, not the small ones, but the big ones, like Lake Erie or whatever, those have a fixed water ambiance to them.
Yes.
Even not everybody has information to what happens under a lot of those lakes as well.
Yes.
But what people don't talk about when talk about fixed water is other degrees of fixed water. Quicksand.
Quicksand. Isn't that like earth? It's not?
That's how people drown in it. It's water-based.
Yeah.
It's water-based. And it's fixed. And the more you try to come out of it, the harder it is. And that represents the ambiance of the Scorpio as well. You gave a lot of scenarios how you connected to, and I love when you do that. That's one of my favorite scenarios when you do that, when you break down how the kids, you can add that same information to the universe and the planets. As for Aries is, triple darkness. Before they let there be light, there was Aries, because that's the creation. Then you have Taurus that keeps it, that fixated, that keeps things in orbit from things not colliding all over the place, that fixation. Then you have Gemini, which is Then you have Cancer, which is reproduction. And then you have of things being in creation, connection. You have Gemini, which is creation. Now that creation is happening through Cancer, everything is coming all over the place in the universe, which is Gemini. It's mutated air, it's starting to create itself all over the place. And then you have Leo, which is somewhat similar to like a whole number to a degree, I would say, where now it's a reflection of what's happening. The sun is out, the sun is created, things are happening in the universe. It's a pause. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, look at what's happening, aka Leo, look at me, look what's happening. And then you have Virgo, right? And the Virgo is a representation of, okay, now that we see what's actually happening, let's understand the calculations mathematically and understand the finite existence of things that's happened scientifically. Hence, we're, pi, hence anything that has to do with calculations of things that are manifesting themselves, the analyzation of things that are taking place. And then you have Libra, which is the balance. Libra is the beginning of the balance to make, I said this a few minutes ago when I was talking about Libra, to keep everything in its balance. But now we hit Scorpio. And the balance of what's previous is death. Scorpio is death and destruction for that balance. Because for things to constantly be born, things have to die. It's a necessary. That's why you're dealing with Hades in the underworld of, morbid and darkness, but not in necessary evil. It's a necessary thing to happen. If everything lives, then what? There is no change. Things have to be destroyed to be born. And the Scorpio energy represents transformation, change. And it's not something that people like to get into or like to talk about, because if you never know about Scorpio, people have like a dark, dismal, it's a very standoffish, I really don't trust. It's because it's dealing with a different entity. They're dealing with the part of existence that's necessary, but not necessarily like to be talked about or deal with. And that's just a necessary evil. And I don't want to say evil. That's just a necessary constant that things have to just be destroyed. Things can be born. Look at seasons. Seasons, leaves die. People die. So Scorpio represents that transformation. As a matter of fact, as you know, being a Scorpio, the Scorpio transforms itself into a bird. It dies in its own self and transforms. The Scorpio's tail is inward, which means destruction of even myself. So I can transform to that bird. The poisonous thing is pointed inward. It can destroy you and it can destroy itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I have this, I always have this story about the energy of Scorpio. It's the scorpion and the frog, and how the scorpion asked the frog to get a piggyback ride to go across the lake, to go across the pond. And the frog doesn't trust the scorpion. The frog is like, no, I'm not gonna trust you to get on my back so that I could take you across the pond. And the scorpion, convinces the frog to take the scorpion across the pond because the scorpion cannot swim. So eventually, the frog says, yes, fine, climb on my back. I'll, take you to the other side of the pond. And the frog does that, reluctantly, because it's scorpion has a reputation. So while they're in the middle of the pond and they're halfway towards the shore, the scorpion decides to sting the frog right in the middle of that pond, with the land nowhere in sight. I mean, the frog is about to die with neurotoxins. And so out of nowhere, the Scorpio just does this. The scorpion just does this. And the frog is like, why did you do that? Why did you just stung me? Now we're both going to die. And the scorpion's like, yeah, I know.
Exactly. It's in my nature. So you mentioned earlier about Scorpio and sex, right? So yes. Why is it, since Scorpio and that sexual energy is very potent, why isn't Scorpio considered the reason why Scorpio is considered death, even though it has sex? What does that calculation mean to you?
For a scorpion, it is death.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about in the astrological perspective of Scorpio. The reason why Scorpio symbolizes, even in the vaginal area or the penile area, sex glands are represented in Scorpio. And the reason why, some people say, well, if Scorpio represents death, then why does it represent sex? And I say to people, well, because that's the whole thing. You have to have sex because you can keep people living, the population living, because people are destined to die. So that's what I'm saying. The Scorpio energy understands inevitable change and destruction so other things can be born. So sex is the physical interpretation of that energy. Make sense or no?
Yes, yeah. But interesting that you say that, because in a relationship, Scorpios, one thing people don't know about Scorpios is that the eighth house represents crisis in action. The Scorpio represents crisis in action. The ninth house, Sagittarius, represents crisis in consciousness. But let's talk a little bit about crisis in action with Scorpio. When you're in a relationship with Scorpio, I'm telling you right now, if you don't have this conversation with a Scorpio as soon as you meet them and you're trying to get into an intimate relationship with them, the word submissive has to come up. Who is going to be the more submissive partner in this relationship? Because I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be you if you're not a Scorpio. Scorpio won't let you know that at the end of the day, they psychologically are ruling you through sex, mostly through sex, but psychologically they know pain, they know pleasure. That's pain and pleasure to them. It's not much of a difference. They have mastered those two big energies, and for some Scorpios, or for a lot of Scorpios, S&M is a big thing for them. S&M is could be cruel to other people's, but pleasurable to other people. And so when I say you need to be the Scorpio, when you're in a Scorpio relationship, someone has to be the more submissive. And I'm telling you right now, it won't be the Scorpio. Although Scorpio will lead you to believe that you are probably have more power, especially if it's a feminine energy. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you right now, to have a Scorpio in your life, whether it's a child, a family member, a friend, someone that you're married to, your partner, they're there to change your life in some shape, form, or other, because that's who they represent. They represent crisis in action. There's nothing you could do about it. And with that being said, one thing about Scorpios is that they need crisis. They feed off of crisis. And if there is a native crisis, they will make up a crisis. That's just who they are. But on the other side of the spectrum, if there is a crisis, you want a Scorpio on your side, because they're going to be the one that's going to be the more calm, the more cool and collective person out of a crisis going on. But to talk about the sex aspect of Scorpio, for them, you're right, Riley. They do see sex as being one. It's not like Leo. Like Leo will see sex as like a fun, even a recreational activity, but Scorpio will take it more as like, death, like very dramatic, like death, yes. And it's like not much of a difference for them as far as pain and pleasure.
I agree. I'll say this about Scorpio and submission. See, the thing about Scorpio and submission is this, and this goes to the Scorpio woman. The Scorpio woman, her desire for power is not talked about. It's not bragged about. It's almost subtle. But their desire to have power through sex, through manipulation if necessary, through secrets, she will use. And what makes the Scorpio kind of really dangerous in certain ways is that you're not going to hear it in her voice. You're not going to really see it in her face. It's all what's happening in her internal psyche. She's playing masterful chess in the calmest, smoothest, nicest tone voice. In boxing, they always say the punch that you don't see coming hurts the most. And that damn sure is Scorpio woman. And men as well. And men as well. Now, I'll say this. One of the reasons why Scorpio, like you just said, have this thing with submission, in my personal observation and analyzation in the past, years studying Scorpio people, and predominantly the woman in this particular topic, is because I really believe in my heart a lot of Scorpio women desire a penis. And I mean that in the sense of power. The Scorpio looks at men as power, and they want to extract that power. They don't finesse like the Libra does. They just want to take it. You know what I'm saying? They want to, So that's why, see, you didn't even say compromise. You said submission. You didn't even create a polarity. You didn't create, they were all balanced. You said either or. And that's because you look at it as somebody has to be the one who gonna da. Yeah, because you know why? In the psyche of the Scorpio, I'm not gonna be controlled. Because there's one thing that's constant in the Scorpio mindset is that I know I'm fixed in my emotional state. You're not gonna take control of me. But ironically, that's also a fear underneath. And even though in her confidence, there's a fear. Her fear is being submissive because she knows in a submissive state, she can get fixated on that person totally. She can lose herself in that person that she falls in love with. And it's not going to happen easy, and it ain't easy to get a Scorpio to fall in love with you. And you have to be a real strong person to get a Scorpio to even consider having those type of emotions towards you. But I think the key to the Scorpio, see, listen, I'm the Scorpio master. I say that with pride. I have you guys figured out. And what I've learned with the Scorpio is you don't try to control them. You understand where they're strong at and you feed it. You don't try to take away. You don't put them in an uncomfortable position necessarily. You do challenge them and you do put them in a position to sacrifice, but you don't try to alternate their natural strengths. And I think when you feed that, they don't feel the need to be defensive. They don't feel the need to feel that they're not going to submit. Because I don't think it's me being the polarity of Libra. Sometimes it don't always have to be about submission. It's about compromise for the greater good of what's right. In the same sense, be strong while you're doing it. And that's how you can tame the Scorpio. You don't need to force yourself on her or him for that matter, whatever this relationship is. And I think that's what people don't have to understand. Because she will come off, and like I said, she might not necessarily come off like, she may act like she's congenial. Oh yeah, everything's fine, everything's cool. And then out of nowhere, she's like, no, I'm not gonna. Like, where the hell that come from? So you have to really have a keen eye with the Scorpio individual. I mean, probably like that penis comment, like, what the hell even about when they want a penis? But I'll let you talk about that if you want to talk about that.
I am going to talk about that actually, Riley. Mm-hmm. But I do want to cross-reference. You made an excellent point, and people in the chat room are saying that you really hit it on the nail when it comes to Scorpio's emotions. Watching you, thank you for coming in. Hampton, I saw you earlier. B Rabbit, thank you again for the super chat. Listen, Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts, a Scorpio. That movie is exactly what you just said when it comes to a Scorpio's woman's emotions. Julia Roberts, in that movie Pretty Woman, she was a prostitute, and she played it really well, I think, because Scorpios, when it comes to careers, believe it or not, a Scorpio or people that have 8th house placements are really good at being a financial broker, being detectives, working in the CIA or British intelligence, and prostitution. The prostitution business, a Scorpio will have it down to the T. Okay? Really good at that. Not saying all Scorpios. I'm just saying that is one profession that they could be very good at. And so going back to the movie Pretty Woman that she played with Richard Gere, who happens to be a Virgo. Now, mind you, I had mentioned this in the Virgo video. Both Virgo and Scorpios, they share something in common, and that's S&M. Now, if I wish As a Scorpio myself, I do wish that that movie was rated R instead of PG-13, because when they got in the bedroom and you saw how the submission part played really well between the both of you, remember the part where she's like, you know, servicing Richard Gere, but you know, she does it in her own way. She's the more she even though she's submissive, she's actually still the one in control. And then also as the movie goes on, you know, Richard Gere pays her to be, you know, his escort for like days or whatever, but you know, she's still in control. Yes, she's getting paid, but she's still in control. So that dynamic between the Scorpio and the Virgo in that movie is played, and as a matter of fact, Richard Gere is a Virgo himself. But that dynamic of being in control in the bedroom, not overly control, just very subtle control in the bedroom. And the only way I could explain that is Pretty Woman, when Richard Gere and her get together. I just wish it was a little raunchier. Because it would have nothing to do, like I think they came out with the movie, it's 50 Grays or 50 Shades of Grey. I never even watched the movie, and I don't care to know anything about the movie or the book. I just wish they would have like elaborated on that scene with the Scorpio and the Virgo in Pretty Woman. That would have been some interesting stuff to watch. But I don't know, Riley, do you think Scorpios like playing psychological games in and out of the bedroom?
I'm gonna answer that, but I want to get back to what you just said.
Yeah.
You said that the Virgo and the Scorpio is like S&M, right?
They are into S&M.
Okay, so what is S&M?
Pain and pleasure.
And what are pain and pleasure?
I don't know.
Pain and pleasure are balance, right?
Ah.
What separates Virgo from Scorpio?
Libra.
Ta-da!
So we got pain and pleasure. Yeah.
There you go. The start. See, that's how you know it. I wanted to bring it back, because sometimes when I say things, I want people to understand. Like this is not this off the wall. This is a science. But to answer your question, so yes, Corby played mind games, absolutely. Because, like I said, the Scorpio, you know, she can be a witch. You know, she understands. Remember something. You're dealing with a sign that's ruled originally by Mars, and then they found out it was ruled by Pluto in like 1929, 1930. You're dealing with the underworld and you're dealing with action. The underworld perspective is underworld. You know, tricks, manipulation. You know, not uncertainty. You know, you're dealing with the ambiance of science and magic, you know, different. You know, so yes, she will, and he will. Actually, the Scorpio sign is the one sign where they say the man and woman is almost identical. Ironically, I don't for whatever reason. So you say Scorpio man, Scorpio woman, there's not too much differences in their behavior. You have to call it the masculine principality and the feminine energy, but besides that, their behavior can be very, very similar in how they do things. Unlike other signs, but maybe a little different. But yeah, the Scorpio is subtle. Remember, the Scorpio. See, she doesn't, or he doesn't. They don't trust. You know, they don't want people close to them. If a Scorpio has you close to them, you better believe you serve a higher purpose in their life. Remember, they're very very picky about who they want in their world. And you know why that is? Because remember, if I am naturally underworld, if I'm naturally secretive, by nature. If I don't trust nobody, and I'm letting you in my world, then you have to serve a purpose, because I'm actually going against my normal self to bring you in. And that's why they'll play mind games with the sex and sex games through mind games through sex, mind games through manipulation, mind games through secret, because they want to be able to make sure they can control you, so they can have their way with you, because they don't trust you. I have to make sure I have him or her the way I want them to be, because I don't trust them. As I like to call, Scorpio the ice queen. Ice, very hard to get through. But when you crack it, soft. They don't want you to get to that part of them. And they will fight you tooth and nail. They will leave you alone and love you. They'll have sex with you and never call you again. They will make you think you're going to have sex with them, and they're not going to have sex with them. They will do it with the smoothest, subtlest tone, or a very loud one, and then get real quiet. And you really can't figure them out. It almost makes me feel like they don't know what they're doing. They're going as they're going along, they're just doing it as they go along. But no, this is all chess in their minds. All these steps is planned. And I have to admire it, because it takes a lot of time and effort to put that in motion. But yes, y'all do it, and y'all do it to a science. And I as an Aries, as a war general, I can appreciate the strategy behind it, as far as the effort that it takes to do it. And like I said, it is who y'all are.
You had mentioned Aries. Well, Mars co-rules Scorpio, so Mars rules Aries, and it does also co-rule Scorpio. So interesting that you had brought Aries up, because Mars rules these two signs, both Aries and Scorpio. Mars is actually the ancient ruler, or the co-ruler of Scorpio. With Aries, Aries is a natural warrior. They're very straightforward. They're ready to pound on somebody, and it's going to be loud, and it's not going to be secretive. But then on the opposite end of that spectrum, with Scorpio in that same planet, it's more psychological. It's a psychological warfare. It's strategic. Same concept as far as warfare, but in a different way. Not in a more outburst, or I'm coming to get you. It's more mind games, more psychological warfare. So again, this is what you call the binary function of one planet. So the binary function of one planet would be Aries and Scorpio. Aries being the warrior, and Scorpio being the psychological warrior, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Aries.
Go ahead.
Aries. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to go into the chat room. Go ahead.
Aries is more like like a Green Beret, or like a Marines type, and the Scorpio like a ninja. Smooth with it. You don't even. It's snowing outside. They got on the white outfit, the white gi suit, whatever I forgot what you used to call it. They're on white ninja suit. It's all white and it's snowing outside. But then if it's dark, they got the all black one. Very calculative in their movement, and non-forgiving, and very hard to forgive. Because see, the Scorpio is like, it's, even though it's the first house of selfishness, it has a very selfish nature in regards of how they maneuver when they're dealing with people. like, once a Scorpio confides in you and really buys into you, and you hurt them, they'd rather kill you than have you having their secrets, having their secrets in your head. I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's like you really have to make sure when you deal with Scorpio, you really know what you're getting involved with. And you can't really be soft. They don't like soft. Even the men don't like soft women. They like a submissive woman necessarily, but they want her to have some strength to her. But the women, definitely, they don't want a soft man. Absolutely not. They want to know, can you really handle what you think you can handle? And most Aries are good with Scorpio people because we got the same planet. We got a different strategy, like I said about, a few minutes ago, but you have to really know what you're getting involved with.
Yeah, I agree. So I happen to be a Scorpio sun, 0 degrees Sagittarius. So I'm on the cusp of Scorpio Sagittarius. However, I have Mercury in Scorpio, so my form of communication is all about, the hidden, detective work. If I really wanted to get into detective work, I will get into detective work. But, I get bored by that. It has an Aquarius moon, but I also have Mars in Scorpio. Now, Mars in Scorpio is pretty interesting because here we have Scorpio very comfortable in the planet Mars. So I have, Sun, Mercury, Mars, and then I have my Uranus. My Uranus is in Scorpio. So I have a very strong, more than I want to admit, 8th house placement in my birth chart, more than I want to admit. And it's awful. I'll tell you the truth. It is not the best to be, to have placements in Scorpios. It really is not. You could see us being very calm and cool and collective, and we may handle a situation, maybe different from others, depending on your moon sign, because your moon sign does represent your ego and how you react to things. But, to get into the 8th house energy, you had mentioned something about witches, how Scorpios can be witches, but Scorpio does have a natural ability to be psychic. But what does that really mean? Because they're so good at transcending their emotions, because they're really good at going inside their emotion, knowing their fear, facing their fear they're not afraid. They're not afraid of fear. They're okay with the hardships in life. It happens and they're okay with it. But, for Scorpio, because they're a Scorpio, they are going to go through hardships in life. But one thing about God is that God doesn't give you more than you can handle. The universe will not give you more than you can handle. And as a Scorpio, you could handle it. You would go through shit in your life, but you could handle it. And it has a lot to do with your past life. And it has a lot to do with your karma. The 8th house has a very strong karma attached to it. And so because of it, you're very comfortable with fear and pain, and you're comfortable with being to yourself, and you know how to play, strategic warfare. You know how to play that chess game. You guys are natural alchemists. Because you're a natural alchemist, because you have psychic abilities, because you could even sometimes go into people's, no joke, a higher vibrational Scorpio with powers, can really go into other people's minds and change their minds. They could alter their feelings. And this is the power of a Scorpio. They could do this because they are psychologically in tuned. Okay, by the time you get to the 8th house, this is they already have mastered psychology. So those are a couple of the things that Scorpio could do. Archetypes. Let's talk about archetypes. And archetypes can mean demons, deities, or deities, spirits, sages, caregivers, healers, outlaws. These type of archetypes are very drawn to Scorpios. And one of the reasons why they're very drawn to Scorpios is because they're very comfortable with the dark side. And they're very comfortable in their skin, and they could face adversity, and not be scared of it, in return, because Scorpio leads a very, and I don't want to say Debbie Downers, because I'm not saying Scorpios are Debbie Downers at all, but to themselves, yes. To the outside world, you would never know. But to themselves, they could be very down on themselves. They are their hardest critic. No one could criticize a Scorpio more than they could criticize themselves. And they will be very hard on themselves. And they will deal with adversity and challenges and obstacles in life. But because they are the demons and spirits are drawn, and they're in the paranormal, Scorpio, for some reason, like the dark, and it's not because of some reason, it's because they're ruled by Pluto, and the Pluto represents the underworld. They could pull spirits, and spirits can get drawn to them, whether they're bad, good, teachers, healers, heroes, it don't matter. These spirits, these demons are drawn to a Scorpio because they are inherited through a past life, and they're going to deal with adversity. And in return, because of all this, the spirit world and the demon world will fight their battles. So one of the reasons why you cannot ever mess with a Scorpio is because they have demons and spirits at their disposal. These demons and spirits will fight their battles. No joke, no lie. This is the energy of Pluto, the underworld, Hades, if you know anything about it. And that energy very much coincides with the 8th house. So I don't want people to ever forget that. So when they say, don't mess with a Scorpio, it's because of that Plutonian energy. Is there anything you have to say about that Plutonian energy, or anything else that you have to say about the dark side of Scorpio?
No, you definitely covered a large most of it. And that's why we have to get into the transformation to the Phoenix bird, purple, when they transformation color purple, because the Scorpio can transform. That's the only sign that transforms into another animal. Because sometimes the Scorpios will go underground, or can come out and be something else when he or she decides to make a change for their higher self. Like many people say, well, I can't believe Riley's an Aries. You said me 10 years ago, I was an Aries. But if you're lucky enough to evolve, or if you're blessed enough to see why you should evolve, your higher self. So when the Scorpio can transform to that higher self, he or she is totally different. They may not necessarily be as, dismal or dark or isolated. They might actually become more magical and majestical and more helpful, more forthcoming, more listening, more sharing, more trusting, more loving. But before they get to that, they're gonna go through something, or they're gonna through their own terms and conditions, but they're gonna pass. They're gonna go through it. And I like when a Scorpio is evolved, because that's a beautiful balance. Because he or she understands the complexity and the inevitability of life and death, but also can learn to love and live in the moment. And those are two beautiful energies to have.
Yeah. It is. There are, we have to understand that there are lower vibrational energies and higher vibrational energies for every zodiac sign, and our journey in life is to transcend and to transform and to evolve. And Scorpio has this mastered. Again, you have to be in a higher vibrational frequency to really reinvent and regenerate yourself as a Scorpio, or if you have any placement in the 8th house. To have a 8th house placement in your birth chart is going to mean, depending on which house it is going to mean that there is going to be some type of death, rebirth, and transformation, depending on which house sits in your 8th house. There's going to be regeneration, there's going to be transcending, there's going to be the reinventing. These are life experiences, these are life lessons. You are a fixed sign, and you share this fixed energy with Leo. You share it with Taurus, you share it with Aquarius. As a matter of fact, your polar opposite is Taurus, so you and Taurus pull from each other's energy. Don't get it twisted. Both of you pull from each other's energy. I've seen a Scorpio and Taurus really not get along, but it's because they remind each other of themselves, so much so, but they would never know that. It's just that there's so much similarities as far as stubbornness and psychological warfare between the both of them, which reminds me a lot of Drake, and remember the feud between Drake and Chris Brown. Chris Brown being a Taurus and Drake being a Scorpio.
And I think Meek Mill's a Taurus too. Yeah, he had an issue with him too.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think Meek is a Taurus. I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong though, but I think Meek Mill is a Taurus. Mm-hmm. But that's that. That's why that's that energy. And you got fixed water, fixed earth. But two necessities though. Remember, like I said earlier, the Taurus energy is the fixation that holds things together, and the Scorpio is destruction, so things can be reborn. So they're always going to have that tension, But they see the beauty of it is there is nobody's wrong, nobody's right. It just is what it is, A lot of times people talk about I'm gonna go for a little tangent here. When we see the lion attack the zebra, we'd be like, oh, poor zebra. Oh. Have you ever seen a lion starving to death because it couldn't catch food? You know what people say? Oh, poor lion, he's dying. See where I'm going?
Yeah.
There is no wrong and right. It just is what it is. If I don't eat, I die. So it's just the nature of the game. It's just you need water, you need earth, you need the fire, you need the air. All these are all, but these complexities are all trying to find their way to balance out. Remember in the Matrix when the guy said the key maker, he said, it's my job, it's what I do. There's no emotion in that. So he knew what his purpose was. You know what? I mentioned the Matrix real quick. Speaking of the Matrix, I think Trinity might have been a Scorpio.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like she's like a very detached, unemotional, but so nurturing at the same time.
Mm-hmm. But guess what?
What?
I'm about to say something, right? You seen that look at my face. Trinity wasn't in love with Neo. Trinity was in love with Neo's mission. Okay? If she was in love with Neo, if Neo wanted to go back into the Matrix, she would have followed him back in there. Because that's unconditional, right? She would not have done that. She loved his idea and his mission to bring about change. And she loved him. See, a man with a purpose is an attractive man to a woman of high value. A woman who understands her value will be attracted to a man who knows his purpose. Neo knew his purpose, and Trinity believed in him because Neo believed in himself. And that's what I'm saying. And that Scorpio energy, where you have to be a strong man to get her to sacrifice herself in some capacities or risk her life or want to save his life because she believed in what his mission was. See what I'm saying? No, how many men can get next to Trinity?
None.
My point exactly. And she always wore all black. Okay, I guess they all wore all black, but even the shades of everything was just dark. About business, you know. So yeah, and I and that goes for, you know, that's a very important thing to remember. Like I'll say it again, she wasn't in love with Neo. She was in love with Neo's. She was in love with the mission that Neo was willing to bring out into existence. She loved that energy. And that's where the power comes from, as far as you be when attracted to Scorpio. You have to know who you are and stand on that truth. And then she could be a little bit more sacrificial and a little bit more trusting, because you're not so much trying to get her to unveil herself. You're trying to deal with self-mastery, which would be attractive to her. Because now you are becoming your own man and your own identity and doing on a higher frequency, as opposed to trying to get into her business and unveil her and break into her secrets and force yourself on her and try to control her. Nah, that won't work. Like you said earlier, it's not going to work. But have a purpose, have a mission, and put it in existence. That's a different energy.
Yeah, I agree. When I get into long-term relationships, for me, love is not first and foremost. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, my Venus in Sagittarius may say something else. My Venus in Sagittarius is like, oh, when in Rome, let's fall in love. But because I have so much eighth house placement, for me, I need to know a man has a purpose, and that purpose is income. And if you ain't bringing the bread, or you ain't trying to bring the bread home, and if you're not a hustler, I don't even, like, whether you have a job or not, it doesn't matter. I don't judge people easily. I don't judge people. You are where you are in life, and that's that. But if you want to get close to me, I need to know that you're bringing the money home. Not saying that I'm going to sit home and be pretty and do nothing, because I do actually the opposite. But, you know, I cannot be with someone who, number one, like you said earlier, cannot handle my energy, because even though I'm not forthcoming and loud, I need to know that you're very strong and you know who you are. If you don't know who you are and you're not strong enough, and when I mean strong psychologically and mentally, and you know your self-worth and you know your confidence and where you stand in this world, you know, the weak ones that, you know, I can't, you know, as much as I want to sometimes gravitate to the weak ones because it may be a better partner for me, I can't. I have to gravitate to the dark. I have to gravitate to the one that's like the rowdiest, the one that could, you know, pack a punch, you know, when it comes down to it. But you know, the hustlers, you know, the ones that I know will always be there, you know, to have my back, because you guess what? I'm gonna have your back. So, you know, that's, you know, there's a good side, and there's a gift and a curse when it comes to Scorpio.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, listen, you know, if you look at even animals. Why do males fight for the right to mate? Because the female will not be attracted to a male who may produce weak offspring. That's just the nature of it. All animals, birds, ants, bees, they all fight for the right to procreate. And the weak males don't get none. That's it. Because weak male, when a woman see a man with muscles, oh, he's in shape, he got muscles, that looks like see in your DNA in your brain, like, oh, the possibility of producing strong offspring. You know, sometimes women will fall for the wrong men that are necessarily strong and dominant, and then not necessarily good fathers or good providers, but they may be good as far as producing safety or good offspring. Like, I don't know why I like him so much. He ain't about nothing, you know. But we'll get more into how we talk the relationship. We'll get into the relationship part next month. We'll dive more into that. I'm not gonna get heavy into that right now, but I'm gonna say that for later.
Yeah, you know, if does anybody have any questions? You know, I do have people here interacting as far as, you know, their placements in the 8th house and or any other house. You know, let's see what I have here. Watching you says a woman who knows her value will be attracted to a man that knows his purpose. She also mentions watching you. They also mentioned Game of Thrones, Mother of Dragons. A young lady that plays the part is a Scorpio. Have you ever watched Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I love it. I love Game of Thrones.
Who would you say is a Scorpio in Game of Thrones?
You mean as far as the characters?
Yeah, like, yeah.
Oh man, I would definitely say Cersei.
Cersei?
For sure. For sure.
That's harsh. That's real harsh.
I like Cersei, you know, but I like Cersei for different reasons. Remember, in the beginning, Cersei wanted to be like a dude. She wanted power, and her father wouldn't give it to her. And she hated her little brother because he caused the mother to die during birth. And she could not forgive him for that. So she didn't have a female that she can bond with. So the only male that really bonded with was her brother Jaime, which was, you know, not incestual, but it was her way to create power and control to get what she wanted. Because she couldn't, in those days, you couldn't get it royally. She didn't have any say as a woman. So she had to maneuver, and she was vengeful, and she wanted power.
Yeah.
You know, and she sexed other men for power too. She sexed other men so she can get the ships. You know, she was a Scorpio all the way. If you ask me, that was Scorpio 101 right there. Cersei was no joke. You know what I'm saying? Cersei. Even when she could have easily spared those people. But she, like you said earlier, I'm not going to submit. And that Scorpio tail killed everybody, even herself. Damn, that Scorpio 101.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's all we have for Scorpio. I don't think we had mentioned this earlier, but yes, the Patreon page, Riley and I are going to open up our Patreon page sometime this spring. And we're going to have more content when it comes to astrology. So, all zodiac signs as well as astrology compatibility. If you have any questions about a specific astrological compatibility, that's why we're opening up our Patreon page, as well as relationship advice. You know, I'm also going to be doing birth chart readings there. So just, you know, basic intuitive written birth chart readings will be done there, and other things, you know, other weird stuff that Riley and I, you know, people don't know us, but Riley and I, we don't just really just talk about astrology. We talk about other things too. So, you know, we'll end up talking about other situations and stuff like that. And I want to thank, you know, everybody in the chat room for joining, and everybody that was, you know, quiet, because my Scorpios, they can be quiet sometimes. They'll watch, but they could be quiet.
Scorpios. But yeah, as far as, yeah, we're going to talk about relationships, single male, single female, you know, you want breakups, looking for somebody new, getting your self-esteem back. We're gonna have it all for you guys. Trust me. There's nothing that we're not gonna be able to touch, and we guarantee that after talking sides, you're gonna definitely be on a different mission. That's your goal.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye, guys. So we're gonna do Sagittarius. We're gonna do Sagittarius next week, just so you know. So we're gonna finish all the zodiac signs by the end of the month. You know, with Sagittarius being next week, and then the week after that, we're going to actually talk about a Capricorn and Aquarius together. That's going to be one video. So Capricorn and Aquarius is going to be one video because they're both ruled by Saturn, and they come one after the other. So just heads up for that one. And then Pisces will be the last zodiac sign of the wheel, and then we're done. And like I said, you know, we should have all those videos out by the end of the month. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for the super chat. All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.